IT. It is your girl Leah Rae, and you're tuned into The LeaRaeShow. So, today I wanted to come on here and do another installment of my girl Sarkazz's series that she has on her channel. That playlist will be linked in the description box below. It's a few of us that are participating in it, so go ahead and check it out. It's dope to be posed a question and then to hear other perspectives on it. So you definitely want to check that out. But today's topic was something, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like, should you be upfront in a relationship? And my overall answer to that was, it depends. It depends on what we're talking about. Meaning, if there is something that is going to immediately affect your relationship with that person, even in the beginning, then you definitely need to tell them. For instance, I've known of people, male and female, to hide their children. And what I mean is they keep them off of social media. They don't mention their kids. They just like almost pretend like they don't have kids. And they said that they've done this because a lot of the times when you're trying to meet someone, if you say that you have kids or they see that you have kids, it makes you a less desirable person to be in a relationship with. But see, my thing is, what kind of people are you trying to attract? If you have kids, you should be trying to attract somebody that loves kids and doesn't mind kids, or that you have a kid, because you do have a kid. You know what I'm saying? So you trying to hide your kids so you can attract who? Some kind of bachelor or bachelorette who has no strings attached to any, like has no children themselves, out here moving like they want to, doing what they want to do when they want to do it. That's what you're trying to attract. That should not be what you're trying to attract, because that's not even your life. You know, you need to attract somebody who is living the same type of lifestyle that you have. And it doesn't mean that they have to have kids. It just means that they have to be either settled, you know, just settled in their life, ready to be settled, open-minded, or maybe they do have kids and they understand what it's like. So, yeah, that's something that you should definitely tell somebody in the beginning. Another thing, just something a little bit more materialistic, the fact that you don't have a car. If you are grown, okay, and you're trying to deal with a grown person, you have to let them know that you don't have a car. Because what if you meet them, say, at a Starbucks or something like that? You exchange numbers, you know, you're there with your friends, so you didn't roll with them, and you're talking, they think, you know, people, like grown people don't think that other grown people don't have a car. So, you know, they're like, oh, y'all right. They're probably thinking like y'all rode together. It is what it is. But when it gets time to go on a date, and say it's a girl and a guy, and it's time to go on a date, and she's like, okay, you can pick me up around 8. And he's like, can we just meet there? What part of the game? What part of the game is that? Can we meet there? No. We can't meet there. You can come get me though. You can come get me. I mean, maybe you want to do it like, I don't know how the dating scene works in 2020. You know, I feel sorry for y'all people that got a date in 2020, because it's crazy. It's just this new dating app, swipe left, up, down, diagonal swipe. I don't know. Whatever y'all got going on, I'm so glad I'm not here for it. Because it's too intense. I watched the whole Netflix documentary about that mess and how it's traumatizing to be on those apps. It's like detrimental to your social life. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know how to interact. It's too much. It's immediate rejection almost, or immediate match off. I was going on a tangent. That's a totally different topic. But my thing is, like I said, you meet up at the Starbucks and you can't come get me, and you want to go Dutch. I mean, you want to meet up there. Okay, you want to meet up there. We could do that on the first time, but what about the second time and the third time? What about if I ask you to come over to my place and you like, let me get a ride, or I gotta catch the bus, or what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know, like, no, that ain't gonna work. So you gotta have a really good reason about why you don't have a car. Like, you must have just been in a wreck, and even if you were in a wreck, what a rental? How do you get to work? Like, I don't understand. You know, so that's something you need to tell somebody. If you got laid off, you need to tell somebody you got laid off. If you're unemployed, okay, like, it's okay to have been employed somewhere for 5 years, whatever, or an extended amount of time, and then you got laid off, or you lost your job, whatever, and you're actively seeking. That is different than you just not having a job because you a bum. You know what I'm saying? But that's, to me, information that needs to be, you know, divulged, if that's even the word. And I'm not saying it got to be done on the first conversation, but I mean, if you seeing that you talking to this person, you know, y'all texting every day, you know, y'all hanging out, yeah, I just want to let you know that, you know, I got laid off, whatever. So, you know, I had some money saved up, yada, yada, yada. Hopefully that's the case. But you got to tell people stuff like that because, like I said, that immediately affects them. Now, something that may not immediately affect them could be you don't want to move out of state. Okay? Yeah, that's not going to immediately affect anybody, but it might down the road when, say, you've been with a person 5 years and maybe that person's going to get a job opportunity somewhere. You know, that's gonna affect them down the road. But I don't think that's necessary to talk about within the first month of you being with somebody. You know, I just want to let you know that I'm never gonna leave Washington State. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that that's necessary, but that'll probably come up in casual conversation, and you probably need to discuss that, because if there's a reason why you're scared to leave the state, obviously there's some kind of trauma. So, you know, stuff like that. Or now here's something that needs to be mentioned in the beginning of a relationship, but not necessarily like on the first date, but before you get to that committed state. I don't want to get married. Gotta let that out the bag, out the gate, because that's a deal breaker. Or I don't want kids, deal breaker. You know what I mean? I've seen where that, not that I've known people that that's happened to, but I've known of people to get married and then one person be like, well, I don't want kids. Yeah, but you knew that I wanted kids. You know what I'm saying? Or you even said that maybe you wanted one kid, because people will do that. They'll say, well, maybe I have one kid, but then as time goes on, then they be like, I don't want no kids. That'll cause you to get a divorce, because that is a deal breaker. So my thing is, like I said, if it's going to immediately affect the relationship, you know what I mean, then you need to divulge that type of information. But if it's something that's not going to immediately affect the relationship, I don't think it's necessary to divulge, because what would be the point of telling everything and anything in the beginning of a relationship? That would make for a boring relationship. A relationship is a journey. You grow together, you learn together, everything. And you need stuff to talk about. You need stuff to learn. You know, you don't want to lay everything out there on the table. And then you got to think about being upfront and wanting somebody to be upfront with you. What do you want to know? You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes people think they want certain answers that they really don't want. You know what I mean? And that's more of like a young mentality. Like, just think about, you got some young kids. Let's think about some young kids, like maybe like 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, around that age. And, well, let's say young adults. Let's keep it like 19, right? And so they decide they're going to get in a relationship, and the dude asks her, or she asks the dude, well, how many boyfriends have you had? Or how many girlfriends have you had? That's not a question you really want the answer to, okay? Because that's gonna turn your wheels. Now you want to know who they were. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to know what they look like. Now you're on their Facebook page stalking them. You know what I'm saying? Now you making up fake profiles, trying to slide in their DMs and ask them some questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, now you looking over their shoulder like, I want to know if they texting this person, whatever. You see what I'm saying? You don't want the answer to everything. That's something young people got to learn. You know, they want somebody to keep it real with them, somebody to be honest. I'm not saying lie. I'm just saying, be careful about the questions that you ask, because if you don't want the answer to them, don't ask them. When you ask a question, you have to prepare yourself for the best case scenario. No, you don't have to prepare for the best case scenario. You have to prepare for the worst case scenario. So when you get ready to ask somebody something and you want them to be honest and you want them to be upfront, make sure you want the answer, not just for your information, because it is detrimental to the relationship, because you need to know this in order to continue. Something like how many boyfriends somebody had or whatever, you don't need to know that. Because if it's only one, that's going to be a problem. Because it doesn't matter if it was 1 or 1,000. It's still going to be a problem. So why does that even matter? But that's some mature stuff that some people got to, you know, work their way up to. But, yeah, let me just think. Did I hit on everything? So here's a word of advice. If there's things that you need to know up front because they are deal breakers for you, you need to make a list. Make a list. Like, I want to know, do you have kids? I'm making a list for somebody who's my age, okay? I'm about to be 38 years old. Say I was about to be 38 and single. Even if I was like, I don't know, 25, 26, anywhere like 25 and up, because I'm a pretty settled person. Do you have any kids? Do you want kids? Do you want to get married? Have you been married? Are you employed? Do you have transportation? Have you ever been arrested for anything? Do you live alone, or do you have roommates, or do you still live at the house with your mama? Do you believe in God? What is your religious affiliation? Yes, all these questions, they are questions that I would need the answers to, and depending on the answers could be deal breakers. So think about that. Think about what could be deal breakers for you and make a list. And make sure you get the answers to that before you get into a relationship, because it will suck to get into a relationship with somebody, fall in love with them, and then realize 3 years later that they've been worshiping the devil this whole time. Anyway, y'all, that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed. And until next time, people, peace.
I've been shining in the sunlight. I've been thinking how I'm alright.